Well, good morning, everyone. Just had to quickly restart the stream, and apparently something's not working here. Let's see what's going on. So it seems like I just restarted my stream because it wasn't streaming to YouTube. But let's get back to it. I think this is working now. So good morning, everyone. This is your host, Nolan Lee, and I do not have jury duty this week, which is great. So I don't have to report in because I called in yesterday, and it seems like there is no trial, or there's no any cases available on the queue, I suppose. So yeah, so we're doing good. Let's now now it's funny because now Restream isn't working. I don't know what's going on here, but let's go back. So just had to, okay. Well, hopefully the Restream will work on OBS because I'm using OBS to also see. Hello, happy Monday, everyone. Do I have to start this over again? Sorry, take two. Sorry, take three. We're gonna do take three here. Okay, be right back. Good morning, everyone. This is take three. We are now watching, or now we are live again. So I just had a little snafu there. Not sure what was going on, but we are now broadcasting. So, like I mentioned in the last two takes, I do not have jury duty, so I am here and able to produce for you guys. So what I'm going to be doing is a piece for the hashtag draw this in your style. So let me just quickly post this to Twitter. Feel free to just jump into the chat. Hello, everyone, and let's get this party started. Okay, so I'm just going to post the link here for YouTube. So I didn't have to report it for jury duty because there's no cases available. So it's a big relief because I didn't feel like taking the whole week off, so to speak, for doing, and then having to work at the evenings. So this helps out a lot. Panda is live on YouTube. I want to tag YouTube and punching pandas, hashtag punching pandas. All right, we are rolling. So I'm going to be doing a character based on, I'm just going to be doing my panda career character. So I'm going to try to just doodle here, try to figure out what am I actually drawing. Apparently nothing, because there's nothing to show. So one of the things that have been popping up in my news feeds has been kind of the situation happening in Hong Kong, and it's kind of fascinating because I was just there visiting my wife's family visiting my wife's family, and so it was back in January. So it's kind of crazy to see the amount of activity going on there, you know. And I love the city, and it's just in the culture, and it's just kind of sad to see that there's just so much strife going on at the moment, and I don't want. It's funny how controversial things are getting now, to the point where I think one person tagged a photo. I saw on Twitter someone tagged a photo of the Last Jedi poster, but reformatted it to with some art to represent the protesters, and they tagged Mark Hamill, and then Mark Hamill liked it, and then it's like, oh, what implication does that have politically for China and Disney now? It's like now you have an actor, Hollywood actor, American Hollywood actor, liking a tweet by a Hong Kong protester, and then is the Chinese government going to go all crazy and ban the next movie from the theaters in China? So it's pretty interesting, to say the least. Good morning, Potato Nut. Potato Nut's on D Live. Welcome. Just trying to come up with kind of digging around here a little bit. Let's go smaller. Let's not get too caught up with the details. Sorry. Apologies for the shifting camera. Whoop. Looks like my Ergotron arm is getting a little bit. It's kind of sagging a little bit. Not sure why. I use a Ergotron connected to my Cintiq to help move it from a standing to a sitting position. So last night I was getting pretty tired. I played some basketball, so I was feeling a bit felt like my feet were pretty sore, so I had to lower it yesterday. But normally I'm on my feet, so I can at least not have my butt get all saggy from sitting in a chair too long. Okay, so I'm doing this again. So this again is for draw this in your style. I'm gonna just draw my character. Try to figure out a way to so I haven't posted anything with regards to Punching Pandas on my Instagram. I was basically trying to work with trying to finish up my had to get to a deadline with my freelance, so it was kind of a bit of a short timeline that I had to get out, because I was also anticipating having to do jury duty, but now that I don't have to do that anymore, it's kind of a relief. So now I have more time. Hopefully I can bust out the other projects, that frees me up to do my writing, and so I'm pretty relieved about that. I think I'm just going to do something like that. So because it's Instagram, I'm going to have to format it for let's format it for the with a square, but also keep in mind that it's also we could make this a print later. So the thing I have to figure out with the prints is that since July now, I think some federal legislation or some kind of legislation was passed where online retailers now have to register for sales tax in other countries and in other states that collect sales tax. So I'm like, now that means I have to register for all these states for sales tax to collect sales tax. So I'm thinking probably have to remove some products or restructure my my store so where I'm basically wholesaling to these other places, so I don't have to deal with the sales tax myself, because that's kind of annoying. I think from a logistical standpoint, and I don't really have a business manager that I work with at the moment, so I'm doing all the stuff myself. So if you or anybody else you know is interested, knows someone in business who likes to take on a challenge of developing IP, I'd be interested in discussions. Of course, they have to be qualified and know what they're doing. So, okay. So this is like the rough pass, and then let's see if I can do a second pass here. Potato Knot says, the other day I had trouble with cooling down colors, brown specifically. How would you go about it? I am crazy. Hey Yayako, your GIFs are coming in really tiny, but I'm assuming you like to dance, although I can't read the first one. But yeah, the cooling down colors, brown specifically. I think it depends on if you're trying to cool down browns, or it just depends on the how you're rendering and what you're trying to do with your overall goal. Because it's kind of a broad question. I think in terms of lighting, what I've noticed, if you say you have say you have like a room or something like that, and you put a brown table in it, so you could just do this, and then it's say we light it in a way where it's like, you're using cool light, I suppose, when you're say it's inside a room and the room is next to a window that's facing north, so you have, I don't know, maybe a window like that. Say everything else is darker in there. You're gonna get some light pooling in here, but usually with blue light on brown, so brown has kind of an orangey tint to it, or warmer tint, so it tends to, I think blue light will tend to desaturate the color. It wouldn't really amplify it. It's similar to when you have if you have a sphere, right, that's slightly orange, and then you shine an orange light on top of it, like a more intense orange, then this is going to increase not only in value, but also in saturation as well. So here it's like, well, if we take it down a little bit, then this light would be. I didn't expect this to be a lighting tutorial, but it's okay. So it'll be something like that. But then if it's blue, this would tend to, say we change this to blue. Like a blue light. So if we stay stuck with that orange, sphere again, right? So maybe here the shadow, or we go back here. So instead of the say this is just ambient lighting, if we have blue now being added to it, it's going to tend to, if you start with your base color here, you're going to trend towards blue, but then it's going to be a little bit more saturated, so it's going to look something like this, even though it's green. So you might get some blue here, but then you're going to find it's less saturated than the ambient color. So I would say, like, if you want to try to cool down your browns, you have to probably end up desaturating them a little bit. So anyways, I hope that helps. That took me a while to explain. Okay, so let's go through here. Let's flip this guy around. So draw this in your style. For those of you tuning in on the DLive, welcome. Always appreciative if you guys. Oh yeah, Yako's the one that says I'm crazy. Oh, it's a trap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, feel free to just like this video, or I guess with DLive it's about just gifting a Lino points. So you can do that. I think I have about like $1 accumulated overall, but I wanted to at least learn a little bit about this whole cryptocurrency thing, so it kind of helps a little bit to, so I might as well just start on this. Okay, so here I'm just trying to address the style a little bit. My music somehow died out, so let's bring that back. This app is not performing up to snuff. Excuse me. Let's just double check how we're doing on YouTube Live. And we can also bring in on let's bring on the Instagram channel, or Instagram crowd as well. Because the more the merrier, I'd say. right here. My desk is a bit cluttered. Good morning, all. Sorry, this seems like I can't really get a good angle on my Instagram, but I'll just bring the drawing over here a little bit. Oh, excuse me. So yes, I know there's a tangent right there, but we could always fix that later. Hello everyone, Kaden, Maurice, what's up? Scorpio, Kaden, welcome guys. I'm always surprised, Maurice, when you come in here, because I'm like, aren't you a busy guy? Why are you watching one of these live streams? Or you're probably eating lunch again, right? Just working and spying on me. Excellent. I like being spied on. So, yes, I got out of jury duty. It's kind of a relief. Because I want to get some of these videos out. So the other day I was, last night I was working on some freelance. So while I was working, I was listening to. There's a video that came up in my feed regarding some YouTube channels, and they were talking about whatever happened to this channel, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I just let it play while I was working, and it referred to this one channel called Channel Awesome, and forgive me if this sounds like if I feel like a total noob to the discussion, but it was kind of interesting because like it's about, and I remember coming across some of these videos. There used to be for those of you who don't follow YouTube, there used to be this guy named the Nostalgic Critic, and he would do this. It's like a movie review site, but done with the level and production of an internet celebrity, which is it's pretty rough, but it's more developed than say like me talking in front of a webcam. And hello Roscoe and Winnie Clipser. So I was listening to it and I was just like, there's someone that made a comprehensive video about this YouTube channel that used to employ a lot of creative staff, and apparently there's a lot of current YouTubers out there who all stem from this Channel Awesome site. And I remember seeing some of the videos, and they're entertaining in their own regard, but the way that everybody was talking about this channel. So basically, the long story short, this channel went through a lot of drama because there's a lot of things like mismanagement, egos, in one case sexual assault, and so this person, the way though that the whole topic was discussed was like I felt like I was listening to a bunch of high schoolers talk about drama, but times 50. Or it was like magnified like 100-fold, because it just, for one thing, it was more interesting because like there were, these are not high schoolers, they're grown adults. At least I would like to think of them as adults. They look like adults, but just the way that they talk, it's like it just felt like I was listening to a high school fit, or sorry, some like teenage drama. And so my brain got overloaded. I tried my best to at least try to understand the situation, and I think what's interesting though is that I do notice whenever there is some kind of drama, anything hinting at any kind of drama, it just feels like there tends to be like a pileup effect. And one of the quotes that was stated in there was, so that a lot of these creators had left this channel awesome, and one of the comments was made that, well, when the channel was trying to respond to some of these critiques, these criticisms, hello Rock Paperson and other Colette, Justy Lynchich, sorry if I butchered that, and Iki HMA. Alright, see you, Maurice. So one of the things that I thought was interesting about the so the channel responded to some of these allegations, and the comment that was made was something like, well, you're calling all these people liars, all 40 of these people liars. But I would say that just because you have a large number of people, piling onto one company, I'm not sure if that really grants some legitimacy to their argument. Just because a bunch of people like spoke out against this company, does that necessarily make it right? And I'm not taking sides here, because I'm all, to me, this is all coming secondhand. And so, but I feel like, having been at Comic-Cons and seeing that the way that people like to talk about drama, it's a very enticing thing to want to talk about. Like you hear something like, oh, someone got their box, their cash stolen, or so and so got mistreated at this by the staff members. And, but it's just something that people really love to talk about. It's weird too, because it's like, most of the exhibitors at Comic-Cons tend to be pretty, they're adults, right? And so like, whenever some kind of drama comes up, it just feels like artists end up being the ones. I mean, there's a lot of gossip in there with the artists, and it just feels so. I don't know. To me, I'm always trying to withhold judgment before I speak. So like, even when I see like a hot news item or some kind of controversy, I'm like, well, it sounds terrible. And in some extreme cases, for example, like you have like a Harvey Weinstein, and it's like, well, and I'm not talking about sexual assault. I'm just talking about just stories in general. That there's, I withhold judgment because I'm wondering, well, is there an actual rational reason why some of these actions occurred? So on the face of it, it sounds ludicrous, but then you hear like maybe down the line you hear like, oh, someone was actually lying, or someone was about the initial facts, or someone, or maybe they did so because they wanted to, the actions taken were such because there's this other stuff going on behind the scenes. And it's kind of hard to parse out with the whole thing with this YouTube channel, because I was like, I have no idea who any of these people are. And so and it's like, you can't really, there's some facts that are being presented, there's some evidence being presented, and I think overall I think, yeah, there was a bunch of mismanagement, but it was just interesting. Hey Tony, hey Weasel Bell, welcome on Instagram. I just think that, just people crave drama. People crave conflict, I guess. I think social media doesn't get any. I think that's why like people just love talking about it, because it's just, or people love making that kind of material and engaging with that kind of topic, because everybody's always asking everybody wants to know what everybody thinks about it. But this is not meant to be a stream talking about controversy. But I just thought it was interesting. It's just like my brain was just feeling way overloaded yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness, like, you people are talking way too fast, and just prioritize what you're trying to say. I don't need to hear some of this extraneous detail. Just get to the point. Let's see. I probably should record this too, right? As a time lapse. Maybe I totally forgot about that. So I just hit the record button. We'll see what happens. Sorry, Randy's looking a bit huge here. Kaden Bailey 25 from Instagram says, "What was the biggest drama that happened at your high school or job?" That's an interesting question. I think, gosh, let me save this first before I tackle that question. It's not so much I'm trying to dodge a controversy. It's more like I'm trying to figure out when's the last time I had at least saw last time I experienced like a big drama that was affecting my immediate community. I think it was probably in high school, way back when. So just to kind of date myself, I was still in high school when Columbine happened, and I remember one of the things that was going around with a bunch of people was that there was going to be, like, it happened I think around the spring. So one of the things that people talked about, one of the things that rumors that was going around was someone was gonna plant a bomb and shoot whoever was going to be like the prom, who was going to be crowned prom queen. And I thought it was, because at the time, like something like Columbine was very it was very impactful. Like there hadn't been anything like that before. I mean, there was, but not to the level, not to the fervor and to the hype that it became with the media. So yeah, that was one of the big things. So we actually had and this is like when I was in school in Oregon, so it's like, take it with what you will, but people did become paranoid about that. You can kind of sense it with everyone, and they actually brought out police to be present at the ceremony, because it was actually the crowning ceremony was actually held outside in the football stadium. And I remember it was like May, and it's like in Oregon the weather is still pretty lousy, so it's like great overcast skies, and you have the whole student body out and sitting in the football stadium, and it's like, oh, and there's a rumor going around that it's gonna be a shooter going after the prom queen, and it's like that didn't really ease anybody's mind about it. And so yeah, I mean, obviously nothing happened, because and I was actually friends with whoever was the prom queen, so I never actually asked her like later on like what that was like, because I don't know if she was even privy to that rumor. But yeah, that was quite interesting, I would say. But it's weird because like now I'm a dad, and I have to think about what's going to happen when my kids go to a high school. It's like what our high school is going to even look like years from now, because they already look much different to me compared to when I grew up. Hey Manolo. So wow, long time no see. Are you arting away, Miss Panda? Shadow Wolf Fang GX on YouTube says, "What does the title mean?" Title, draw this in your style is for those of you just tuning in. So I'm doing this piece for draw this in your style because I've just been noticing it a lot on Instagram. So basically, it's a hashtag where artists would post their own characters, and then they would have the hashtag is encouraging other people to draw their original characters in their style. So I figured, well, I've been on Instagram in a while, so I might as well give it a try and see how people have fun with this. Of course, then people will tag back about tag me with this, and it's just going to be fun because I don't think I've really had a lot of fan art with the pandas. I've had some here and there, but not too often. So I'm trying to see if I can make this, because I've been trying to figure out what her outfit looks like, and I don't want it to be super like a superhuman or a superhero costume, but more just a fun design. Oh, sorry, I've been drawing over here. Just check something here. So this project is more for Instagram, because I actually haven't posted to Instagram lately, because I was actually assigned to do jury duty starting today, but fortunately I didn't have to show up because there was no trial scheduled. So that was a big relief, so that I don't have to actually go out and take a week off from work, because I have a lot of stuff to do. So but it's not really anything I'm getting paid for with this. It's more like trying to create more content for my audience. So if that makes sense. Let's see. I think we could do this. I thought about doing a hood. Should I do a hood? I don't know. If you guys on Instagram, go check out Pandemonic. It's Eileen. She's got a lot. She's switching to art, but it's so I would highly recommend you guys checking out her art. So that's a plug for her. So Eileen, just make sure that you send me the checks when you get rich and famous. RS Corone joined. Hello. Shadow Wolf says, whoops. How do you post it? Oh, so if you want to post your own character, you can just draw your own character and just hashtag it with draw this in your style. If you want to draw this character, I probably would wait a little bit until I'm finished so that you can see what it is I'm drawing, so you have the reference. But then you could just post it like any drawing on Instagram and and tag it with draw this in your style. Let's see. So let's get to coloring. Oh, the Wing Luke Museum is here. Hello. Well, this is Wing Luke Museum is our Asian American museum based here in Seattle, downtown. I'm guessing it might be Heather. Maybe it's Heather. I don't know. Maybe she left the account on her the Instagram account on her phone. So whatever she says, whatever Wing Luke says, that's official. See if I can make the museum. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Let's flip it. I said let's flip it. Okay. Well, I said this was supposed to be a quick sketch, but it's kind of not turning out that way. But let's just go through. I can still make this a quick sketch. I know sometimes I see sketches, quote unquote, on Twitter and such, and they're like fully rendered paintings, and I'm like, that's not a sketch. You're just trying to show off. I mean, there are some people who are legitimately good at that, and but I kind of I'm a little skeptical when I see some of these quote unquote sketches. Billy Belule from Instagram. Hello. All right. I do notice with this draw this in your style, it tends to be, the subjects tend to be a lot more girls. So I'm like, well, I guess this is, maybe my hashtag would fit right into it. Or maybe my character would fit right into it. Excuse me. Brown-eyed doxies. Huh? I feel like I'm gonna say something controversial if I read off these names. That just sounds kind of. It has the word dox in it. You're making me nervous. Brown-eyed doxies joined Instagram. Trying to think, what's a good. A little cross-eyed. Potato Nut, is that a Christmas holiday outfit? Not really, but that's kind of funny. It's more of our official outfit. Where did I put that? This character I drew for Emerald City's Monsters and Dames art book back in about 4 years ago, and ever since I've been wanting to develop a story on her, but which I currently am working on the side. So the idea is that she is a courier, like a delivery person, and she's delivering this panda, the punching panda. Okay, maybe we should take that off. Sorry if you hear my gurgling. It's almost time for lunch. I'm just gonna grab a quick snack here. Clalice on Instagram, welcome. So if you are watching on Instagram, or if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or some other channels, just feel free to give a like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. On Instagram, feel free to just give me a thumbs up if you like. It helps the algorithm if you like to see more panda stuff. Let me just take a quick break here. So I just want to do a quick plug for some of my gear. So I'm Nolan Lee. I'm an independent artist, and these are a couple of the books I've written recently. It's The Panda is Fat and other panda haikus, and Panda is Still Fat, which is the sequel that just came out. And so here, I'll just show you guys on Instagram as well. So I've both of these books are about 40 pages, over 40 illustrations. They're about 90 pages, and so they feature artwork based upon my original character. In this second book, I have more characters. So here for the Instagram crowd, this is much more visually dense book because there's more characters and more things to same amount of similar page count to the first book. There's a couple more pages included, and then I have other things too, like buttons and stickers. So I'm currently fulfilling the perks for. I'm getting ready to fulfill the perks for Indiegogo. I'm just waiting for the books to arrive. So I ran an Indiegogo campaign for my second book, Panda is Still Fat. And so these are some of the other perks, where this is a sticker pack based upon featuring some of my characters. So this will be like a 10 sticker pack featuring my characters from the new book. So this is Buxton. This is Buxton the beaver, Nop the duck, Nop this right here, Baby Junior. So feel free to go and check out punchingpandas.com, and also follow me on the other social medias as well. So let's get back to the stream. So we now just got her some pants, which is great. It's good to wear pants. Otherwise it can get me in trouble. Although apparently it seems like people like to not wear pants on Twitch in some instances, from what I hear. I am not endorsing said channels. This is a pretty family-friendly channel, so I tend to keep things pretty clean. Although, maybe from time to time I'll draw some different art. But maybe not so much risque. Figure drawings, maybe, but although I think figure drawings tend to tend to I don't think they abide by Instagram's policies. But it's weird because I'll see, like, I follow a lot of artists on YouTube, and one of them whose work I follow, he was linking one of his pages where he was drawing a bunch of smut, and it's pretty hardcore stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't really feel like having this on my feed, especially if I'm browsing Twitter around my family and my kids. I'm like, that just doesn't feel like it's something that sometimes when I'm showing friends or showing people my Instagram feed, if it's someone new, I'll open up Instagram, and it hasn't happened yet, but there was one time where it felt like it wasn't like a full out nude photo, but it was like, oh, it's just like, it's like an artist study, and it's like, oh, this kind of like sort of, it was borderline risque, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just look at my phone first before I like load up Instagram. Raposa G, sup man, and please call me Fox. Well, I guess I will call you Fox. Raposa, Raposa, from Twitch. Welcome. Welcome, Fox Raposa. Sorry, I missed that tweet earlier. Yeah, the internet is a weird place. I'm like, I always step out. I always think outside, where I'm like, whenever I see some kind of online interaction, or just hear a term about, that people use things like, I don't know, what's kind of internet jargon. I always think about, like, if aliens came to Earth, and then they were observing our language and behavior, they'd be like, I don't know, it's like, what does doxing mean? What does doxing means just putting your information on the internet. It's like, how's that different than a phone book? Apparently they don't like it. Can't draw ears right now today. OG, what's up? So I also plan on doing some more animating. So just to finish up the Panda is Fat haikus on YouTube. So if you're on, you can go check out my YouTube channel, which I'm streaming to right now. But I also have some animation there too for my book, The Panda is Fat. So go check it out. It's a lot of fun. At least that's what parents tell me too. Let's go here. I thought about like a belt system before, and I think Potato Nut. Your style reminds me of Astro Boy. Well, thank you. That's a big compliment. My stuff could look half as good as Tezuka's, and it's I consider that an honor. I think I'm just really like cartoons, because I think well, for one, I think my realistic drawing is okay. I don't, it's not something I really enjoy doing, trying to make something super realistic. Like, to me, it's more interesting to try to do something more abstract that captures a real subject instead of having to make something super photorealistic. And so, yeah, but I would also like to create my own style too. It's not like I go out trying to mimic, because right now I'm trying to figure out, like, what's a more interesting way to draw Penny here, so that she doesn't look like a Disney princess, because the structure of her face kind of feels like a Disney princess, probably because I drew Disney princesses, and so it's kind of ingrained in the way I draw. Chicken on Instagram. Hello, Diane. Whoa, long time no see. Hey, Diane. Mr. Vampire, welcome. Thanks, Diane. Thanks for dropping in. It's been a while since I've seen you on these streams. That's a pleasant surprise. I remember when Twitter first, or when Periscope first rolled out. That was like a really huge thing, and then everybody was. And I couldn't really. I was trying to capitalize on it, but I couldn't really be consistent. And so, like, I think it just came and went, and then it was kind of a hot thing. And then, like, after that, like, no one really used it anymore for some reason. Guess there's other streaming options. I mean, the nice thing about Instagram is that it's fairly easy to use, and I tend to just use it just because, I don't know. But now that I've been able to get a handle and get better equipment to stream, it's now that option to do streams is just more. It's a lot easier for me to kind of work with it. So now that I'm on Twitch again, because I had Twitch, but then it just felt like, there's a lot of these things that I had to. I had to maintain, like I had to stream on this, but now that I was looking more into it, now that I have other services to help me out with, then it's now become easier to work with. So that's been good. Helps to also have a nice computer, a new computer to help me with this. So appreciate the encouragement. Thanks, Mr. Vampire. I always think about that the song from Juno where it's like, I am a vampire, I am a vampire. I think it was like the Moldy Peaches, I think was the name of the band. That wasn't a bad movie.
It was enjoyable. I think nowadays, as a parent, I'm like, oh, these kids just so whiny and stuff. I don't know. I feel like my patience for kids and people struggling with trying to adult is, it's always going to be there, I guess. It's always something that everybody's going to have to work through. Everybody has to grow up. I just think that, I don't know, there's some instances where I'm just like, come on, just don't worry about it. When I say that, when I talk to when I'm, disciplining my kid, I'm like, or, if something happens where his world falls to pieces, I'm like, you know what, it's not the end of the world. If you spilled your ice cream, there's more ice cream in the world. You'll have a whole lifetime to get more ice cream.
Hey Kathy, welcome.
I still haven't figured this out with Photoshop. How come it's not? The other day was actually doing it to a degree where they were, I would be able to select, auto select a adjustment layer, and was doing it for a little bit, but only do it on some layers, and I haven't figured out why it's not doing it. You're gonna give me that blue, okay. So the reason why she's dressed this way, so someone made a comment about this being a Christmas outfit. It's more so that, so I'm designing her to kind of be like a courier. So if you look at bike messengers and such, they kind of wear, they're wearing athletic gear. So this is kind of like athletic gear. And, but it's not like super like skin tight or anything like that. It's not supposed to be a superhero outfit, but it's supposed to at least be fun to draw. Fairly easy to do a style. But I'm not having her be a bike messenger. She's a courier, so it's a different type of courier. And so the idea being that I want her to be like what you call, like a rock climber type of courier. So instead of bikes, she's living in this, I can't do it. So instead of using bike messengers, they're mountain climbers, and so there's different type of, trying to figure out what the mechanism is to for them to be able to climb vertical structures easily. So the idea that I'm toying around with is giving her some kind of blaster boots, which are kind of fun, so that way she can kind of bound up the mountain like a goat. So that's kind of a working title, is, goat boots, I guess. I don't know, that doesn't really roll off the tongue as well.
Janine Chin, hello, welcome.
So what I'm using right now, question was, what am I what tools I'm using. I'm using Photoshop, and I'm using Wacom Cintiq. It's a device that allows you to draw directly on the screen. So for artists, most artists would generally be familiar with it if you do digital art. But for those of you who are not familiar, this is what a lot of digital artists use to draw fancy pictures in a really quick time. I like drawing with it. It's one of the first things I went to invest in when I wanted to switch from engineering to art. But so, because I had a Bamboo too, but it was one of those 5-inch, really small Bamboo screens, and it was like there's no way for me to draw. I mean, it was just too tight to draw, and that's one of the things I would recommend to people is to, if you're gonna get a tablet or invest in one, you can get like a Cintiq Intuos. I mean, you can get a Wacom Intuos, which is where you draw on a different pad, but the pad has no display on it, so you're looking separate. You're looking up at another screen, and that may seem kind of weird. And I initially invested in Wacom because I wanted to maintain that drawing mechanic where you're looking at what you're drawing. But I've seen people make some pretty amazing stuff with it, Intuos, and there's times when I've made some pages in my book based off of Intuos because of computer issues. And one of the things I like about the Intuos in drawing with it is that you can make some pretty interesting happy accidents because you know, there's a little bit of a disconnect between what you're drawing and what you're seeing on screen, so sometimes you can create some really cool accidents unintentionally because you can be precise with the Intuos or with the Intuos, but sometimes I like to kind of be a little bit looser with it if I'm trying to create some different shapes. So yeah, so I would recommend that. You know, the black is a little bit too black. I'm just gonna go back here. Let's change that to the regular Panda white. No, let's keep it at that. That is about, so this is like a little panda medallion. Maybe make it a little bit smaller because that feels pretty big on her chest, but it's a cartoon, so there's a little bit of, things can feel a little bit broader. Okay, so one of the things I see, I'm just going to double check something. Oh, sorry. Question from Potato Nut about drawing. Do you get wrist pains from drawing long periods of time on the Cintiq? Yes, sometimes. The older I get, the more pains I'm having. I think it's just you know, your body's not meant to sit at a computer for hours at a time not doing anything. You know, your body's made to jump around, move about, hunt, forage, run around, do all these other active things, and sit in front of a machine and, you know, draw and code, you know, and be hunched over. You know, like, we're not, you know, it's pretty apparent when, you know, if you ever work in corporate or you know, when they're always talking about ergonomics, it's like, you know, your body's meant to move, and, you know, things like your lymphatic system, which helps to clear the toxins from your body, you know, that's it works basically based on movement. If you don't move, then that stuff doesn't get cleared from your system, and it just becomes unhealthy. I think sitting in general is an unhealthy activity. So that's why I switched. For example, that's why I switched my desk to a standing desk, so at least I'm on my feet. I'm shifting my weight around. I've already noticed an improvement in my posture and in my just in some of my core, because I feel like, and it's not much, but like I'll play basketball in my spare time, but then I notice having to, because I'm on my feet now, it's becoming a lot easier. I feel like a little bit more stable because I haven't been sitting down hunched over a desk for a while, because basketball involves a lot of bending over because you're playing defense, you're dribbling the ball, you're kind of crouched down protecting the ball as you dribble. So it helps to, it's like one of the worst sports for your back because you're also jumping and leaping and that stuff is I don't know, I feel like my body, it's fun at first, but then it's like your body's like, can I get a break? That's why you don't see many people playing. Like I think you see more people playing, more older people playing tennis than you do like basketball. Basketball, you pretty much end up, I feel like around 60s, pretty much the absolute limit you're gonna reach playing basketball. I mean, my pastor can, he's over 50 and he's still, he's not playing at a high level, but he's still playing well for, like I can't leave him unguarded because he'll kill us, and he's a pretty adept shooter. But I think the oldest I've ever seen was like 70. There's this guy who used to play with us. He's like 70 years old and pretty active, and he would rebound and everything. But it's just like there are times when he would get knocked to the ground from a rebound or something like that, and we all kind of collectively held our breath, like, did we break something? And for example, you could, like, one time I saw his wife, and not to sound cold, but man, she looked old compared to him. Like, he was pretty spry looking. I mean, he still looked like he was 70, but he could move. And he hustled and he ran all the time. So that's a long way of me saying, you gotta get up and move, take breaks. Like my wrist today kind of hurts because I don't know if it's because of basketball or if it's because doing chores, or I think I've so this is my money maker, so I need to make sure I take care of it, which reminds me I need to go to the doctor at some point. Okay, so I'm kind of like this. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the boots because I'm like, boots are always kind of flubbing me up. But I'll think about that later. I'll let my mind stew about it for a bit. And go to the pandas. Let's see. Yeah, so this is going to be fun. Pandas. Let's do Randy. Kind of reminds me of my son. He likes mom more than me. that's okay. He just has to respect me. Hopefully.
Okay, so I just restarting my
Instagram here.
just gonna do a little
Doing the rounds here with all the streaming sites to see if everything's working okay. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun feeling because it's like I feel like a ship engineer and just like going in and checking, making sure everything's working, operational.
everything's hissing right along. And so yeah, so far so good. Let's check DLive.
Actually, probably feels like it should be more like this. Is this so earlier I was
Talking about YouTube. Let's see
here, I'll just wait. I'm just gonna restart my Instagram here.
Hello everyone. Hello Instagram. Can you focus on here? All right.
Yeah, so earlier I was talking about YouTube drama because I don't know what's going on with that. And it's funny because I don't really feel like it just feels a little bit it's interesting to me, but in my day-to-day life it feels kind of like it doesn't really, it's like something that doesn't really feels like it could happen in my world because it's like, at least for my YouTube channel, it's like very small. So it's like, and yet I see all these other channels and they're having this explosive growth. I think part of it's because I'm not creating the content that YouTube wants to encourage, you know, things like reaction videos or, you know, talking about controversy, that sort of thing. So it's like, oh, I guess if I don't talk about those things, then I kind of avoid getting caught up in all the craziness. I remember talking about how while like a couple of weeks ago, I think that I just like for me, I want to continue making a living as an artist. I want to continue making my own work, and yet when I see people succeed at making their own work, and then seeing them getting caught up in the YouTube drama and seeing how their egos just go crazy, I wonder, like, well, if I ever become highly successful, would I even be able to handle it? And I think I'm cautious about it because I don't necessarily think when people get involved in controversy, they're completely different than us. I think humans in general tend to have we live in different times, but we also have like the same kind of hang-ups, I think, even compared to people way back when. William 294, welcome. Rice GSM. Sorry, I'm just butchering everybody. Oh, sorry, Jeremy. Here, let me shift this over. Whoop, there we go. So I think when I see, I think about for myself, like if Punchy Pandas ever continues to take off here, and becomes even more successful, it's like, well, do I even want that? Am I going to be able to handle success or fame? Because it's a good feeling when you go to a convention or you go to a show, you meet people, they recognize you, and then they're like, there's kind of that warm fuzzy feeling you get when someone's been following your work for a while. But then it's like you just see the way that people act, and it's just crazy. Oh, okay. I guess that's my time here. It's been about an hour, so I'm gonna just end the stream here. Family's home. It's time for lunch, so I'm gonna break. I'm gonna still record this and post it later today. So it's my Panda Courier characters, or Penny the Panda Courier with Randy and Pack at the bottom. Yeah, I'll get that figured out. Appreciate it. All right, see you guys. Cheers.